Lovely. Well, the current exhibition at North Hert's Museum is the work of a sculptor, John Mills. And John is a nationally known and acclaimed sculptor. He's worked all over the world, and we're really delighted to have this exhibition of his work. Now, the exhibition runs until the 27th of April, Tuesday to Saturday, 10:30 to 3:30, and admission is free. So, John, we're standing in the exhibition in front of a mock-up of your workshop. What first made you become a sculptor?
I often wonder myself, but, because I went to art school, junior art school, which was a high spot, but the house in days of art schools in this country. But we did everything, and I tried on everything, and 1 year, about 4 years in, they built a sculpture department in the school I was at, and a very talented student came down from Leeds with the man who was going to run that department, and together, plus a couple of the tutors, the place began to hum. Right. And it wasn't sort of trotting around from low class, but it was something else. And I thought, that's for me, as did one or two others. And so I went from there.
And that was that Hammersmith School of Art?
Hammersmith School of Art, yes, about 1950, something like that.
And from there you went on to the Royal College?
Well, from there I went to National Service.
Right.
Well, I got into the Royal College, which you had to compete for places in those days. You weren't handed them on a glass platter. But you couldn't take up the place until you'd done your national service. So I had 2 years learning how to fight, learning how to kill, teaching other people how to kill for the Queen. And that comes a bit later. But I managed to swing it round, and I had a sculpture studio and all that. So I did quite well with it. And it taught me quite a lot about looking after oneself and doing what you want to do without offending others.
Right.
And that stood me in good stead from then on. And I practice that now.
Right. And so has your work always been figurative? Because the work we can see here is very much based on the human figure.
In those days, Henry Moore was the big influence, and we tried on. Everybody tried on Henry Moore, tried on a bit of Picasso and everything, but I preferred Donatello and all that. And the Victorian Albert Museum was chock-a-block full of them. So I wanted that. I like people. My sport was swimming and diving. My hobby was young ladies, and I found a very beautiful young lady who was a diver, swimwear diver also, and I married her, and she's still with me.
Right. Yes,
67 years later.
Golly. It's a fantastic story, actually. So what was your first commission?
My first commission of any consequence was drawing the works of Big Ben.
Right.
So I had a ticket to go up into Big Ben and sit there drawing the works, which is 14 feet of clock works, and it was fascinating. And
we have a picture of that drawing in the exhibition.
Yes. Well, the Illustrated London News had wonderful wood engraved illustration.
Yeah.
And wood engraving was one of my better subsidiaries. In fact, it was the first thing I showed at the Royal Academy when I was 15, were wood engraving.
Right. Yes.
And I still do wood engraving. Yeah. I have tools on my bench all the time. Yeah. And so they're all linked in. So it was interesting, that one. Yeah.
And what about your first piece of your first sculptural commissions? What were they? Were they at the Digswell, when you moved to Digswell?
No. Well, I suppose they were. I did a couple when I was at Hammersmith. A figure of Joe, in fact, which went into Catford Girls' School. Oh. Life-size figure, a dancer, and but it disappeared.
Oh,
one
it'll be somewhere.
Did an essay on trying to find it.
Right.
So yeah, that was a commission that I didn't really know of. And then in the army, I was asked if I would make the Corps badge for the parade ground, 10 feet by 10 feet, and I pointed out to the CO that was against Queen's regulations, that I couldn't do that because to employ a national serviceman in his civil occupation was against the law, except medical. So he said, can't we come to some arrangement? I said, oh yes, it would be a wonderful job to do. It's probably the most boring badge in the entire British Army. And so I took it on condition that they gave me a studio, fatigue men to bit the clay, transport whenever I wanted to go to Poole to get the clay, leave to come up to London to buy the tools that you can only buy in London and so on. So I should come
So that worked out quite well.
Yeah, and at the same time I became a PT instructor.
Right.
So I had two things that I really wanted.
Yeah. So after the Royal College you had a fellowship to the Digswell Trust in Welling.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about Digswell at that time?
Digswell at that time was actually created by sculptors from the Royal College of Art for a man called Henry Thomas. And so we were the first people there.
And did you live there? Did you live on site?
Lived on site. There was accommodation for 14 artists of various kinds. So there was 4 sculptors, 3 painters, 2 stained glass people, a poet, a weaver, Micah, I can't remember his name, but a lovely man, and the potter Hans Coper.
Wow. And so that's fantastic.
So
community.
Ralph Brown was one of them too,
Yeah.
and John Ragg. So it was quite formidable.
Yeah.
It's a bit different now.
Yeah. And how long did you live there?
We did the 5 years.
5 years.
And then we moved further into Hertfordshire and got absorbed into the landscape and disappeared.
And is that when you moved to Hinksworth?
Yeah.
So we're really lucky. This is the reason we had the exhibition, is because John lives in Hinksworth, which is of course part of North Herts. So he's in our patch.
Yes.
And that was one of the reasons.
But it's taken 50 years for Ros to find me.